Alright, so this is a fake Nintendo Switch that costs $30 versus a real Nintendo Switch that costs $300. Can they compare? We will see. Alright, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Be sure to subscribe because we are almost to the 100K. Let's do it. Alright, so we got both the boxes right in front of us. We got the real one on the left, the fake one on the right. The real one is a lot bigger, obviously has a lot more stuff. Looks like we have the switches, everything. Okay, very cool. All the cables. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. We have a legendary find of some wired headphones. Alright, unboxing all of that, getting it all prepped. Ooh, our fake is very interesting. Taking off the plastic, booting them up. Oh, this video is gonna be fun. All right, before we get into the software differences of the two Nintendo Switches, I'm gonna go over the hardware and kind of all the differences that you can find. There are many differences between these two Nintendo Switches. I think one to note is the actual dimensions of the two. Is the fake one is a lot thicker, kind of like a block, where the original is kind of more sleek and it feels a lot higher quality. The original feels a lot heavier, even though it's smaller, but it's just more dense and just higher quality. This one kind of feels light and cheap, almost like a toy. When it comes to the ports on the top, we have both power button right here, and then for the original, you have a volume rocker and then a headphone jack and then the game card. Looks like you have like a vent right here. Where the fake, we have a USB port, like a super old USB port, not like a USB, micro USB, like a very old one. We have headphone jack, we have the microphone, whatever R means, maybe probably reset. And then we have a TF card, so basically expandable storage, and then even a small HDMI port. So very cool, but that's kind of the differences on the top. So when it comes to the actual thickness, you can see that the fake is quite a bit thicker. And the original has two sets of buttons. On the sides, we have one right here, and then also one right here, where the fake only has just two buttons on the top, and they feel a lot cheaper as well. And I think another thing to note is these side panels do not come off. There's no way these are coming off. They're just like little coverings of plastic, where this one on the original, obviously, it pops off just like this. And then you have the little part where you can put it together and use it as the display. But on the fake, you do not get that feature, unfortunately. It does not have the switching aspect of the Nintendo Switch. When you look at it from the side, they look pretty similar. One just kind of looks a little bit bigger. And so you can get away with it looking just like a Switch, but it obviously is not an actual Switch. Another thing to notice is the actual buttons on the two. These are the fake, right? You have this crappy little joystick. They're in the same like I guess like order kind of, but like these buttons are pretty crappy, where these are nice and click. They feel super good, and the joystick's very smooth and nice, and it works well with the software. Also, you have a button right here. This one you only have two little buttons right here, and the buttons are just kind of jankier sounding. As for the other side, kind of the same deal. You have the similar layout. You don't have the plus and minus button either, and the joysticks are about in the same spot, but these joysticks are a lot worse than these. Then you have these buttons. These buttons are better, more tactile. I like these better. And these fake ones are just kind of reminds me of like an old Xbox controller. And you have three buttons down here: select, start, escape, and then this one also has a home button. Another thing to note as well is the backs between the two. So the back of the fake, you have this like fist versus fist that says portable multimedia player. So that is super interesting and kind of goofy. In the original, you have, of course, Nintendo Switch, and it feels a lot higher quality. And this one also does have the stand. So if you want to stand up the monitor, you can do that, where this one does not. Also, this one does have a little label beneath it that says X80, and this one obviously doesn't have anything on it. In the actual hand, the real Nintendo Switch does feel very ergonomic, and I really do like the feeling. It has a little raised part right here, which makes it a little bit easier to hold and rest your fingers right here. And all around, the whole thing just feels quite a bit nicer. As for the fake, obviously it's a lot cheaper. The joysticks are a lot more annoying to work with. The buttons kind of don't work as well, but it does pretty much mimic the look pretty dang well. Like if you were to look at this from a distance, I don't think you could really tell. This is looking at the two side by side right here. See, they're pretty comparable in size and shape, but like obviously you have those differences where this doesn't come off. The joysticks aren't as good. And all right, so something to be aware when looking at the two side by side based on their actual screens. It looks like, so one of them, the fake runs an emulator that basically has a bunch of old games on preloaded. Like we're talking like arcade type games, and we have a bunch of random stuff too. Like we have all these apps which we'll go through, but The actual interface is a lot different than the actual Nintendo Switch. The actual Nintendo Switch runs its own little software. You have obviously the Nintendo Switch Online, you have the news, you have the eShop, album, controllers, settings, sleep mode. So it's really simple and sleek for the real Nintendo Switch. I only have one game. I've actually never owned a Nintendo Switch until now. So this is actually my first time ever being on Nintendo Switch, and so if you have games to recommend, please recommend them. But the whole interface is a lot different. This isn't really designed to actually download games. You just kind of play the games that are already on here. So like, it's still fun, but obviously it's a lot cheaper and it doesn't function as good. And this one's a lot more premium to play basically any game you can think of. The thing I actually do like about the fake right here is the fake, none of these games cost me any money. Like, I was looking at these games on the real Nintendo Switch and they cost money, where they're already pre-downloaded on here and you can play them however you want. Has this atrocious noise you hear, and also the buttons are kind of confusing, low key. So they're kind of just two different things in that sense. But I'll show some gameplay of each and kind of show you what it looks like. Unfortunately, this video will be too long. I can't show you the gameplay of all the games, but I'll name off all the games that it has so you guys are aware of what's already preloaded onto this fake Nintendo Switch. So the one I was just playing is called Wolf. We got Street Fighter 2, Cuff, Metal Slug, Fatal Fury, Pro Gear, Samurai Spirit, I want to say, Punisher, Final Fight, Dino. So this one goes to your recently played games. This is GBA Games, 3D Arcade, Battle City, Play Football, Capcom, Wonders, Contra, Knights, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball. We have a video section, no idea what that is. We have a music section, photos. Oh, you even get a calculator. Oh yeah, stopwatch, a calendar. So it looks like you have 12 gigabytes of internal memory. And then it goes right back to the games again. So yeah, super interesting. Then comparing that to our actual Nintendo Switch. Also, one thing to note is the clone is not touchscreen, where the real Nintendo Switch is touchscreen. Our real Nintendo Switch is so much better. It's way smoother. It's so much nicer. It's really a lot better. We get a news section right here, which talks about, I guess, the news and games and stuff like that. Then we have the eShop. This is where you download all the games, basically. So I downloaded Fortnite because I don't have any games. I don't own a single game. Then you get a system setting, which is basically settings. You go through all these settings. Quite a bit different, you can see from the interface. All right, playing some OG Fort right here. But yeah, the softwares do seem to be quite different between the real Nintendo Switch and the fake one. The fake one also has a crappy LCD, where the original has this nice OLED display, which obviously is the newer updated display. You can also get a LCD, but I'm sure it's quite a bit better than this crappy LCD. All right, to end off the video, we are just going to show a little bit of gameplay between the two. I'm just playing Fortnite on the real, and then on the fake, I started with Warriors of Fate and playing that game. It's pretty fun, not gonna lie. They both are really good. They're just two different styles of games, honestly. Two different styles of consoles, and one is just OG games, and then we have a little bit more of some more games on the fake one. Very fun as well. Just different style. I like them both, honestly. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and peace.